This is Stacie with Northwest Senior and Disability Services, back for yet another great day in Tillamook, on Tillamook today. And I'm very excited that today I have Miss Carlson-Swanson, who is the branch service manager with the Oregon Food Bank. Hi, Miss.
Hi, Stacie.
Sounded like an intervention for a second. Hi, Stacie. So what listeners need to know is that Miss and I are kind of buddies. We do all kinds of fun things personally and professionally. And so I'm very excited to have her today to talk about the Oregon Food Bank and all the wonderful things you guys are doing. Go. Just kidding.
Well,
tell me about the mission of the food bank.
Well, our mission is to ensure that folks who are experiencing hunger in Tillamook County have access to food, healthy food, accessible to them both time of day as well as location throughout the county. Mm-hmm. Our goal is to eliminate hunger and its root causes.
And is this a really big issue for Tillamook, for residents of Tillamook County?
It is.
Hunger and food insecurity?
Yes. So 2 of our most vulnerable populations are seniors and children. Mm-hmm. We do average just over 60% free and reduced lunch rates throughout the county, varying from school to school. So families are needing assistance. And then also seniors. We have a large senior population that continues to grow.
Sure.
And folks are struggling, cost of food going up, cost of transportation going up. And so that assistance it's important.
Mm-hmm. And the Year of Wellness this month has an Eating Well, Being Well theme. And with that theme, you've partnered, and we'll talk about this throughout the show, but the Eating Well, Being Well event is this Saturday, correct?
Yes, it is, from 1 to 5.
And what is that exactly? What's going to be happening?
Well, we have a nationally known author, speaker, Judy Barbie, coming in presenting Eating Well to Be Well. And she is a nutrition expert, and she is partnering with other agencies, OSU Extension, the Dairy Council, and YOW with Oregon Food Bank and Food Roots to have cooking demonstrations. There'll be samples of different recipes, and then the information. Their first 50 books are free to those who register. So it's a great opportunity to learn about different nutritional pieces and then inexpensive ways to access those foods.
How neat. So you can go there, you learn a little something, you can gather some resources, and you get to see a cooking demonstration and learn some things and just really have some great takeaways. So it doesn't matter how you learn and what you're interested in, it's going to cover a lot of different things, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
And is there a cost for this?
It is a free event, and there are refreshments throughout the day, so...
If you build it, they will come, right?
That's right.
So people can call, I think, the OSU Extension Office service for more information and to register for that event, if my sources are correct.
Yes, the number is 503-842-3433 to get more information and or to register.
That's 3433, and that is this Saturday, the 11th, tomorrow, from 1 to 4, I believe. So anyway, I'm curious. There's this word that I hear all the time, or phrase. It's called food insecurity.
Yes.
I dropped it a second ago. Tell me, like, the definition of what that means and why that's important language for us to use in regards to people having access to healthy food.
So food insecurity is described as someone not necessarily knowing where their next meal is going to come from or set of meals. And so it can happen for folks once a year. It could be 4 times a year, or it could be every day. So there's varying levels of food insecurity. And there's many different demographics that face food insecurity at different times throughout their lives.
Yeah. And how does Tillamook differ, from nationwide as far as statistically with, people that are facing these challenges?
Oregon tends to always be, unfortunately, one of the top 1 or 2 states that struggles with food insecurity. Right now, we're ranked 6th and 8th in the nation. There are a lot of efforts being made statewide, a lot of coordinated and collaborative efforts. We are at about 1 in 5 Oregonians are experiencing food insecurity at any given time. In Tillamook County, it's 1 in 4 students at any given time. It can be as many as 1 in 4.
Wow.
So it's a real problem that real families face, real individuals and families in our community.
I wonder why it's more prevalent here in Oregon versus other states. It kind of surprises me because we're so progressive in so many ways, but this is such a basic, functional need for survival.
Sure. Well, even especially rural, there's a lot of rural areas in Oregon, and which can create a whole different level of food insecurity because we have what are called food deserts. And that's where you have to drive further or find special transportation just to have access. And I'm sure all of us can think of a place in Oregon where you may have driven for a long, long time, and all maybe you have found along the way was a gas station with a basket of a banana and an apple, and those are your only choices. And so oftentimes folks have to travel an hour or more to get their groceries, and that's not going to happen very often. So you're going to get shelf-stable foods, which tend to have more preservatives and be less healthy. But you're going to buy in bulk, and you're going to buy things that last and hopefully save cost. But then the nutritional value decreases.
Right.
So the food deserts are prevalent in Oregon, but also in rural areas. There's other challenges such as the fluctuating workforce. Oftentimes communities in rural areas are seasonal work. And so there may be times during the year where the money is coming in, ends are being met, and people are able to provide food for their families. But then the off season comes, and then the first thing to go is the food, because that's the one cost that you have control over.
Right. So what does the Oregon Food Bank Tillamook branch do? What kind of different programs are you facilitating in our community to kind of combat this issue?
Well, we have at any given time about 30 programs throughout the county. We have our stable pantries and meal sites that are available all the time and have a regular set schedule. We have the Tillamook Food Pantry, which is located at the Methodist Church on 12th Street in Tillamook. They're open 2 times weekly. And then we have the Seventh-day Adventist Community Services building. They're open 2 days weekly. Wilson River School Pantry, which is run by the students at OYA, Oregon Youth Authority, and with their teachers, and also Gary Albright, who is part of that partnership. And then we have in South County, there's a South County Food Pantry that is just...
You're not going to quiz me on all this at the end, right?
Well, there may be. I hope you're listening.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, South County.
South County, across from the post office. And they have a great program. They're putting in a garden, and they have some educational pieces that are there right on site. North County Food Bank is in Wheeler, up by the clinic. And then we have God's Lighthouse in Garibaldi. And then the meal sites that we have are the Nazarene has a Saturday meal. First Christian has a Tuesday and Thursday supper. Seventh-day Adventist in the basement of the church has a Wednesday supper. And then St. Albans is on Monday, and St. John's is on Friday. So the only day that we don't have a set service is on Sundays. But we are always working with partners and looking for opportunities to make sure that folks have access when they need it.
It's really impressive. So, someone can literally go and have a meal somewhere just about every day of the week, 6 days a week. So, and that is in addition to the food pantries where you can pick up some fresh foods and things like that.
Yeah. And we do have a really strong focus on fresh produce. So, throughout the year, our commitment is to have a supply of fresh produce from somewhere within the 5-state region available, so that to help with nutrition and
I have to say, if you're listening right now, Miss just rattled off all of those sites and days and all the different things without even a piece of paper in front of her. Like, that all just came out of her head. So you can tell that she's doing a lot of great work at the Oregon Food Bank. So we're going to take just a little break here. Where do you go to find almost anything you need for home improvement? I'll tell you where. Rosenberg's. Rosenberg's has been your local connection for anything you need to build and finish your house to perfection. Carpet, cabinets, paint, electrical, plumbing, nuts and bolts, fencing, windows, doors, and so much more. All those items in one place, but that's only part of the story. What really makes Rosenberg's your stop for home improvement is their people. Their knowledgeable, friendly staff is there to help you through any project. Any question from what paint you should use to how to install a new shower valve, you can get the help you need and do it right the first time. Stop by Rosenberg's today to discover what you've known all along. It's better to shop local and work with great people that you can see every day. Build it, plumb it, wire it, paint it. Rosenberg Builder Supply in Tillamook. So again, this is Stacie with Northwest Senior and Disability Services, and I'm here with Miss from the Oregon Food Bank Tillamook branch, and we're talking about all the wonderful things that are happening in our community. And these now, so you're doing all this work, and how do you get where does the food come from that you're distributing to all these great sites that are serving our community?
So about a third of it comes from the USDA through our contract with Feeding America through Oregon Food Bank.
Oh, okay.
A third of it comes from Oregon Food Bank putting together the grants that allows us to make large purchases and get wholesale pricing or lower. And then we do a lot of repacking that on site at our Portland location. And then the final third is from local donations, and a growing portion of that is coming from people's gardens. So over the past 2 to 3 years, we've seen a huge increase of local gardeners donating and small farmers donating their harvest. And it's amazing to have people bring in what they just picked out of their field, and we're able to have it to a pantry oftentimes within a couple of hours. So it's literally fresh picked from the field.
Literally hot off the turnip truck.
That is correct.
That's fantastic. I love it. So, and you guys have a lot, it sounds like you're supporting programs that are out there. You're not, in some cases, creating programs as well, but it's really about partnerships.
It is really about the partnerships, and most importantly, in Portland, there's a lot of capacity, and there's departments around education with gardening, growing your own food, and then also preparation. In Tillamook, we're a team of 3, and that includes deliveries throughout the county. It includes outreach to the community and all the things that go into our local food bank operation. So we rely on our partners of Food Roots, OSU Extension, many other partners that we get together through the Social Directors Network. Northwest Senior Disability is one of our partners as well. CARE. And so when we partner with someone, specifically OSU Extension, they have our curriculum of Cooking Matters and Cooking Matters in the store. And so then they present that to the community. They make sure that the community gets that service and that information. And then Food Roots has our Seed to Supper program, and through them, the Master Gardeners, which is part of OSU Extension. I mean, it's a web. It's a very
It's just another
web.
example, and, we're here kind of promoting the Year of Wellness as well, but it's a great example of all these great collaborations that I talk about it all the time, and it blows my mind month after month, because and you're really at the hub, as listeners today might not know that, the Social Directors is a group of, just nonprofits and for-profits, different community members that are serving the community in different ways, that are trying to reconnect and network and come up with new programs and fill holes and all that. And Miss, I have to commend you that you're right in the middle of making sure that happens. So we appreciate all the work that you do.
Well, I appreciate having a candid audience of a group that is there and caring and wants to collaborate. We are known throughout the state as a collaborative community, and we are lucky enough to get to see that in action monthly at this meeting, and just hear the bubbling up of the ideas and the sharing of best practices and people committing right there on the spot to making things happen.
Yeah. So if you're a community partner that doesn't know about that, and when I say community partner, it's anyone that's serving specific demographics, certainly contact me at Northwest Senior and Disability Services, Stacie Zuercher, 503-815-2062, 815-2062 for a little more information, and we'll go from there. But back to the food bank. Yeah. And I want to do one more little plug about the event this Saturday, Eating Well, Being Well. And that is at the new OSU building, which is also exciting, out there on 3rd Street across from the fairgrounds. It's from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And
1 to 5.
Oops.
Sorry.
1 to 5. Thank you very much. Why is it important for us to have this information about nutrition, and how does that affect just how we operate and navigate through our day?
Well, our brains really do require good nutrition. And so first and foremost, we need food to fuel our brains. And so if we're able to get nutritious food, even better, because then we're developing and growing healthy cells and we're not in a fog per se. And, being in a fog, it's really hard to learn. But if there's no food at all, oftentimes we discover with students in school, for instance, that if there's a behavior issue, if you pull the child aside and give them a granola bar or a piece of fruit or something before you even talk to them about the behavior goes away, because oftentimes the underlying issue is hunger. So it's really important to understand that there's different qualities of food, and some foods you want to eat because they taste good and they may not be that nutritious, but then you can pair that with something that's maybe very nutritious, and together you can be making some good choices. I think it's really important too, through the food bank, there's often donations of things that people don't necessarily know what it is. For instance, we had bok choy at one point that was in large quantities, and we didn't necessarily
Which
know
is fun to say.
It is very
bok
fun
choy.
to say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's interesting, though, when we get a product like that, folks really want to try it, but they're not sure how. And so then, like this event or through the pantries or through OSU Extension, we're sharing resources, recipes, ways to cook things to make them easier to access. We have bulgur wheat, which was, we had quite a bit of that going through the warehouse, and it was difficult to move it at times because, in its packaging, it's not really clear what you're to do with that. And with a little research and a little bit of help, there's actually some amazing cookies that Debbie Lane at my office was able to test cook to see, and have that up for us. Also, she came up with a salad recipe that with the bulgur wheat. OSU Extension is doing this for us all the time as well. And just trying to figure out a way for folks to get bulgur wheat is extremely healthy. It's very nutritious.
It's a grain that is a high protein grain like quinoa. Correct. Yeah.
Yes. And you can kind of interchange how you use those grains in recipes. So once you have a recipe for one, you have them kind of for all.
Sure. So. It's nutty, right?
It is.
Does it have a little nutty?
It does, and it's
wow! I totally pulled that out of the air. So I'm glad. Woo! Nailed it. I remember having a bulgur wheat salad once or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, so okay, so the nutrition is a really important part of this brain fog and behaviors in kids and all those kinds of things. And the other piece that you kind of tapped on is the importance of a balanced diet, and that's why this event is going to be great this Saturday, because it gives people a chance to kind of learn how to apply, practical application for nutrition.
Absolutely. I think that there's going to be some foundational information for sure for folks that want to understand why something is better, why one choice is better than another.
Sure.
But then, with the demonstration and the sampling and the books that will be there, just being able to see how can you make 1 to 2 changes in your life or make an overhaul and feel a lot better.
And sometimes this is a really good kickoff. The OSU Extension Office and Year of Wellness and the Food Bank and all these different agencies. There's always lots of opportunities and free events like this Saturdays to have conversations about proper nutrition. So this is just another outlet, and this can be the sound, like kind of the kickoff, for an individual that wants to learn more about it. It's very, very exciting. We're going to take another quick break here. Colorectal cancer, the second leading cause of cancer death in men and women, is expected to kill more than 50,000 Americans this year. Yet at least a third of those 50 and older aren't getting tested. It's one of the easiest cancers to prevent, though through regular screenings that help catch small abnormal growths in the colon called polyps, so they can be removed before turning cancerous. A colonoscopy only takes 30 to 60 minutes. In addition to getting screened, regular exercise and maintaining a healthy weight can help prevent colorectal cancer. Shed those extra pounds around the tummy by getting 30 minutes of moderate daily activity and improving your diet. Quitting smoking can also help. People who smoke are 18% more likely to develop colorectal cancer. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and if you're 50 to 75, you should have regular screenings. contact Tillamook Regional Medical Center to schedule an appointment with a primary care provider or to find out more about getting screened. So that's a great message from Tillamook Regional Medical Center, and unfortunately something we often don't think about. So this is Stacie at Northwest Senior and Disability Services. Once again, thank you all for listening, and I'm here with Miss from the Oregon Food Bank. The other thing that I was thinking about as we're talking is in regards to the many, many programs that you support in our community is related to services for seniors and having access to healthy food. So tell me a little bit about the different things that seniors, if a senior is listening right now and is interested in being more involved or having access to healthy food or for social purposes and for nutrition, like what's a great way that the Oregon Food Bank is helping support that person?
Well, we, again, have a partnership with Northwest Senior Disability Services. So we have 4 sites that we work with in South County at the Kiawanda Center, at the Senior Center in Tillamook. There's also the site in Nehalem at the Methodist Church.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right.
Okay, so those 3. And then there's a 4th that is part of Meals for Seniors, which is an independent partner out of Rockaway.
Mm-hmm. And at St. Mary's by the Sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those partnerships are essential because it's getting food to folks in the part of the county that they live in, not just in one central location. Mm-hmm. And during the times of day where, during the middle of the day, it's a little easier to get around. Transportation is there if you need assistance. And we partner in the way that we once a month bring a mobile distribution to the sites, and then folks can...
I love this. It's one of my favorite things, actually.
It's the last week of the month at each site. And so there's a good variety of shelf-stable and fresh produce that's made available to the seniors that are also hopefully taking advantage of the meal that's available at that site as well. And it's an opportunity for folks to have access to more foods the last week of the month, which tends to be the time when maybe the SNAP benefits have run out.
Right.
And the next month's benefits are not quite to folks yet. And so we try to really focus on that time of the month where folks may be struggling a little bit more. We have a similar program with students, with children actually, in our community through Head Start and through 2 nonprofit daycares. So one is at the Hebo, the Nestucca Early Learning Center in Hebo, and then the other one is with the Early Learning Center in Tillamook. And so they each embrace that program and do some nutrition education as well as providing those same staples and fresh produce to families that way.
That's amazing. So, seniors can go to these different sites, have a great lunch. I love the we've kind of evolved in regards to the mobile pantry in that it used to be, bagged groceries that were delivered to people or available at the sites for pickup. But I love now that it's out there at those sites and people can kind of pick up what they're interested in taking home and will actually use.
Absolutely.
So, which is another great part of it.
It is a great part. And it raises the dignity of the service. It allows people to have choice. We used to provide a bag that mostly was shelf stable because we didn't know when the bag would be picked up, so we didn't put fresh foods in there. So that's the biggest benefit, I think, out of this whole mobile pantry program is just the fact that I would say a third, if not half of the food that's made available is fresh produce now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And I think that the other important point is that, when we talk about food insecurity and we're talking about the different people that might benefit from utilizing all these wonderful services, it's not necessarily always somebody that is a senior, is someone with a disability, is somebody, that's low income. Sometimes it's a family that has multiple jobs and that are trying to survive, right?
Sure. So the demographics for sure are as wide and varied as our county is in general. So oftentimes in our county, we have folks who are working 2 to 3 jobs during the high season because you never know if you'll have employment during the off season. And it is challenging. And sometimes just being able to go to the pantry is what you need to make ends meet that month. And when you're working 2 to 3 jobs and you're already very tired and stretched very thin, the worry of where your next meal or how you're going to provide food for your family can just be too much. And so it's great that that's one piece of the puzzle that can be made available.
Yeah.
And then the other demographic that really does stand out in our community is those on fixed incomes. So it may be senior citizens, or it may be individuals that have special needs that receive a disability income. There are other barriers there as well, transportation or the ability to have the assistance that you may need. But when food can be made available and those barriers removed, it can be one less stress, one less source of stress that's on someone's plate each month. And it can really increase
no pun
the quality.
intended on their plate.
Exactly. But the stress can be alleviated in one area and help them thrive in another area.
And what's the message that we want to really bring home about this topic? Because I think a lot of times people say there's always somebody that needs it a little more than I do. I think there's some barriers to be broken in regards to that as well.
There are. So two barriers in that area are the stigma of seeking assistance, and if for no other reason, accessing the fresh produce that you may not otherwise be able to for whatever reason, financially. But then the piece about we work really hard to ensure that we're warehousing enough food to meet the needs of our community. And so if you have not sought assistance in the past, but you really realize, boy, I could use some help, please give us a call or stop by one of the pantries and find out what we're about. If we can help alleviate some of that stress and help make your life a little easier, it may allow you to achieve some things that otherwise you've been struggling to achieve. So I am able to be reached at 503-842-3154, extension 1. Extension 2 is the staff at the warehouse. And we are, my email address, mcswanson, SWANSON, at OregonFoodBank.org. We're here to help, and we're here to help provide information or in the right direction. Or if you're someone who's looking to donate or to volunteer, it's a great place to start, and I can help you out with that.
Fantastic. So we have a couple of little announcements for today. I want to thank our sponsors, Rosenberg Builder Supply and Tillamook Regional Medical Center, for their sponsoring today's program. Happy birthday to Richard Biggs, Kathy Gervasi, and Diane Edgar. And then we have some fun things happening this weekend. Senior meals are, during the week, senior meals are 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Senior meals are at noon every weekday at the Kiwanda Center in Pacific City, as well as Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. The cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for other guests. March 10th and 11th, the Spring Vintage Flea Market and Bazaar at the fairgrounds is taking place. The 11th and 12th are the crab races, and March 11th is the St. Patrick's Day Kids Craft event at the Air Museum. That's from 2 to 4, and it's $1 per child. And then, of course, as we've been talking about in today's program, the Eating Well, Being Well event is going to take place tomorrow, Saturday, at the new OSU Extension Service building out on 3rd Street. That'll be a panel discussion, cooking demonstrations, lots of really fun activities, and you can call the OSU Extension Service to register. That's a free event. And then again, really quickly, I also just want to take the last couple minutes and talk about, I'm going to make a right turn, but let's get that phone number first. Oh, maybe.
Almost have it. It is 503-842-3433.
3433. So if you want to register for the Eating Well, Being Well, or call me, Stacie, at Northwest Senior and Disability Services. And then finally, there's a whole nother program that you do. You're talking about all this collaboration mess. And the Oregon Food Bank Tillamook branch has been a part of the Housing Task Force, because you work with people that, have a vested interest in the housing crisis that's in this county. And it sounds to me like there's an event coming up here in a couple weeks to open to the community in regards to that too. And I'd love to just, have a moment to talk about that program as well.
Great. Thank you. So we have been working with the Housing Task Force of Tillamook County for about a year.
It's been, you guys have been working hard.
We had a lot of work that we put into it leading up to the task force being developed, but the task force has been about a year. And we have the Creating a Healthy Housing Market for Tillamook County report that is going to be delivered to the community by the consultants that put it together. And so we're lucky to have them coming out on March 15th and 16th, a couple of locations throughout the county and various times. So we have on March 15th, from 10:30. Oh, goodness gracious. I have it here.
Ooh, you with the language.
Sorry. So on Wednesday, March 15th, from 2 to 3:30 at the Kiwanda Center in Pacific City, and then from 6 to 7:30 at TBCC in Tillamook. And then on Thursday, the 16th, gosh, sorry, my picture doesn't show that piece
okay.
on there. But
and people can contact who to get more information about?
Well, you certainly could give me a call at
Sure.
503-842-3154, extension 1. The website for CARE and the Economic Development Council also have this information on that as well.
Awesome. I forgot to do one thing really quick. So it's Eat It. Oh, because it's the perfect song for the Oregon Food Bank today, and I had to play that really quick for you.
Nice.
So,
I did find the third date.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So,
I goldfished on you.
No problem. So Thursday, March 16th at 10:30 to 12 at Pine Grove in Manzanita for the Housing Task Force.
So this is a good opportunity, and you're going to see this marketed in the paper, and it'll be around, and you can call the Oregon Food Bank, as Miss said, to get more information if you want to participate and hear more about what the findings of the last year's work about the housing crisis in our community goes, and what the goals for the housing task force are moving forward. So exactly. Thank you for all your wonderful hard work in this community. It's really inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
And this is Stacie with Northwest Senior and Disability Services signing off. Be well, Tillamook, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.